executive producer Mallory Falk here, and at the end of today's episode, I have a sponsored segment with Erwin Mendelsohn, the owner and founder of Fulton Commons. It's a co-working space on the north side with something you don't see everywhere. Over 8,500 square feet of shared commercial kitchen space for food businesses at every stage, and it's brought to you by Fulton Commons.
This is CityCast Pittsburgh. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Mallory, Rachel, what Pittsburgh space would you most want a tour of that you can't normally access?
I'm going to cheat. And
okay, why not?
I'm going to cheat and talk about my experience with the backstage tours at the Benedum. Because
Because you actually did that, though, for real.
I did, and I love it so much.
So this is the thing you've done.
I love it so much. I think that like a backstage tour of like the Carnegie, but I don't want to see the fossils that I already see. I want like the basement. I want to see the secret passages. I want to hear the haunted stories. Like that's what I'm most invested in. So give me the whole spiel of the Natural History Museum, but I don't want anyone to have access.
Okay, exclusive for Rachel. Mallory, what about you?
Originally, my answer would have been like the top floor of the Clayton at Frick because I was always so intrigued by that blocked off space. But then they actually opened it up for tours last year for a limited time, and I got to see in it. There were lots of interesting trunks, and you got to see the son's bedroom, which was like the most stereotypically masculine room I've ever set foot in. I believe there were like hunting decor maybe on the wallpaper.
Yeah. And it's like a hilarious amount of rich people luggage.
Yes. And notes that were like, do not open, and which raised questions about, would you release a demon into the universe or something? So I'll have to come up with a new place that I aspirationally want to tour now that I've been able to check that off my list.
Again, haunted.
Mine is moderately boring, but possibly haunted. I really like seeing the inside, like government buildings that like normally you can't government spaces are typically open to the public to some extent, but there's always like offices and rooms that you can't go into, like in a city county building or the county courthouse, which just looks ancient on its own. And I think some of that stuff is so cool, but typically there are times of the year that they open them for select reasons. Like, for example, Pittsburgh Architecture Week, which I think is coming up in October, the 4th through 10th, I'm seeing. They used to call it Open Doors or Doors Open Pittsburgh. But anyway, it's like a time when you can go do that stuff. But I like to see what people's offices look like. Like, y'all are in charge of stuff, and I want to see the mess. I want to see the crown molding. I want to know what your view is when you're like deciding things for my life as a taxpayer. I want to know what the view looks like. Like, what kind of mood are you in? What's the vibe? That's what I'm into.
I literally wrote that down. I was like, Pittsburgh Architecture Week, because I didn't even realize they changed, because I was like, oh, Open Doors. So this is a good note.
Yep. Good to plan for. I am here today with executive producer Mallory Falk and our audience development manager, Rachel Carlson. We're going to be talking about Restaurant Week, a very special 100th birthday, another one. Mallory, I don't know how we ended up on the Centennial beat this year, but I'm loving it. And also some fun events to look forward to this week. Before we get into all of that, though, we have some exciting news. We are doing some summer cleaning, a little clean out. We're going through our CityCast Pittsburgh swag closet, such as it is, and we have some extra stuff we would love to share with some new CityCast Pittsburgh neighbors.
Yes, these are some of the greatest hits from our past membership campaigns. We've got mugs, we've got tote bags, we've got Oxford pennants. So we've got this special offer where if you become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor right now, you get to claim one of these gifts, and you actually get to choose the one that speaks to you the most. You can become a neighbor for $10 a month or $100 a year right now at membership.citycast.fm/Pittsburgh.
And like you said, Mallory, I love that this is a choose your own adventure, choose your own piece of swag. The tote bag, I gotta say, it's a heavy duty tote bag. It has like an opening, a flat opening, which I love. And so that's going to be my choice for a swag item.
That one, it's canvas. It's sturdy. Like, you do not need to worry that over time it's going to wear down. And then, you bring it to the farmer's market and all of a sudden your dozen eggs have cracked open on the pavement.
Mallory, that sounds way too specific to not have been a real example.
It actually isn't. It's just my worst fear if I load the bag too heavily.
We're choosing our membership gifts based on our greatest fears. Love it. We also, of course, have the diner style mug. It's fun. It's larger than I thought it would be. That was my first thought when I saw it. So if you were the kind of person that doesn't need to refill very often, you like to just load up the one big coffee mug, this one could be for you. It says CityCast Pittsburgh Neighbors on it. And of course, our black and yellow. It's definitely one of my go-tos.
And then if you are more in the market for home decor, we've got the yellow Oxford pennant that says Pittsburgh and I live here on purpose. It's got an image of a cardigan that's reminiscent of Mr. Rogers. This is great if you're looking to like spruce up your home office or like add a little statement piece in your living room for when you host people. This is the way to go.
I feel like I hear from people all the time, Mallory, about how like just that statement, I live here on purpose, feels oddly radical, especially like from people who are judgy of Pittsburgh. Like either they've never lived here or they lived here years ago and left. I don't know. I've heard this several times, so don't shoot the messenger, but like that, you know, we may be settled for Pittsburgh or we got stuck in Pittsburgh. And that's just not how a lot of people feel. Like I live in this city on purpose because I like it and I want to be here. So if you like that idea, this pennant puts that declaration literally on your wall.
And if you like to visualize like me and you like Instagram, you can head to our Instagram and Facebook pages to see all of these items and choose your own.
CityCast PGH on the socials. There is a limited number of every gift. Like once they are gone, they are gone. These are the extras we have from past campaigns. So if any one of these items is calling your name and you want to support the work that we are doing, help ensure we're around for the long haul, then now is the time to become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor. Plus you'll get lots of great perks like ad-free listening, special bonus content on the podcast every Friday, invites to members only events. So sign up now, support us, and choose your swag. That is membership.citycast.fm/Pittsburgh. We will have a link in the show notes too, so that it is extra easy and convenient for you.
Okay. Restaurant Week. We're talking about it. It's going on now through August 16th, Sunday. I feel like the website for Restaurant Week, PittsburghRestaurantWeek.com, is always a little slow to populate your options. So if you looked a while back and maybe something didn't pique you, I would suggest you maybe look again because it's all up now.
Yeah, very excited for this. It started in 2012. So when I was at Yelp, I started back in the day and remember when Restaurant Week launched. And it's an interesting evolution because it was 30 restaurants back in the day, and now it is up to 77 with 10 new restaurants. And like Megan said, I'm perusing the list now, and I honestly say go for the expensive. That's really my
like
hot
you mean
tip.
The fancier restaurants?
Yes, go for the fancy to get your value because I'm seeing Dianoia's is on here. I'm seeing that Barcelona is on here. 38.26 dinner for Barcelona Wine Bar. And you know that paella is like $36 alone. So it's great to be able to sample some of these different restaurants that you maybe have had bookmarked for a while, or maybe you're hesitant to try. So this is a good sample because really from the restaurant's point of view, I'm going to want to see a variety. And I think that you get this with the first course, the second course. The dessert is on here too. I'm just looking at Sea Monkey, which is my choice because I haven't been there yet and they have a brunch. So I'm looking at that one.
I think it's always interesting too with these, because if you're not familiar, if you've never tried Restaurant Week here in Pittsburgh, usually it's a prefix menu for a set price. So you get, it's not like ordering off the menu in the way that you would if you went any other time, but it means that you get a discount. So because you've made a reservation, which we highly suggest, make reservations for these, you get the courses as they're designed. They get to plan ahead. It's like kind of good for both. And like Rachel said, like, this is way more restaurants than they had on this website even 2 weeks ago. So, and I'm seeing some pretty good prices and a good showing of local restaurants too. Because, I mean, I feel like the ones that usually get their stuff in early are the national chains, which I know for a lot of folks are just a little less exciting.
And I have worked with restaurants very closely, and I know they're juggling 10,000 million things. Yeah. And this is probably like, I got to get this. And then they get it like the week before. But I think it's well worth it. And then, like Megan said, make that reservation. I even love on Open Table and Resi Now, you can bookmark an hour time slot if it's not available to you, and they'll send you a notification if something pops up availability wise. And I do that all the time because I'm last minute and I want to make a reservation. I really do. And then I don't. So I slide in or sit at the bar.
The other thing I think is nice, just kind of looking through here, is depending what kind of person you are, like if you like choosing your own adventure, much like with our CityCast merch, or if you prefer being told, this is the menu, this is what you're getting, sit down, let us make the decisions. Both options are available depending on the restaurant you're going to. Some say, here's your appetizer, entree, dessert. We've got it all mapped out for you. And then others, like I'm looking at EYV, for example, the really tremendous vegetarian restaurant on the north side, has a few options per course. So you can kind of design the meal that's most desirable to you. And so I would encourage, I was looking at one restaurant and it was literally just like one dish. It was like, here's the one dish you will get at a discount. So you can kind of play around and see like which gives you the most choices, which is the dining experience you are most excited about.
Yeah. And for some of these, like even with having a prefix menu, whether there's options or just like one specific thing, I do like that it takes you out of your comfort zone, at least like a little bit. Because some of these restaurants, like I have a favorite dish and I often order my favorite dish. So when this comes in and I'm looking like at Senti, for example, in Lower Lawrenceville, I love it there. But it's hard for me to not order their lasagna because it's so dang good. But that's not on this menu. So I would be forced to choose something else, which I'm sure is going to be amazing. But I think it's like fun to like challenge your own palate in that way and kind of get out of your own habits.
Yeah, I think this is such a good point in terms of getting outside the box with a new restaurant, a restaurant you haven't been to for a while. I'm looking at Carmela's. And again, I love the first, second, and dessert. Like I love ordering dessert, but I don't because I'm usually full by then. But I love that.
I do to-go dessert, Rachel. That is my move. Okay. Is like I'll eat up for dinner, but then like I will always take a box of like some specialty that travels well.
This may be opening my world.
That only works if the dessert that's speaking to you isn't one that like hinges on having ice cream on the top, which has always been my challenge. It can't be a la mode.
It can't be like it can't come out in cast iron. Like there are caveats to it for sure.
Yeah, I think this is such a stellar list, and I'm really excited to make my reservation now.
All right, we're going to jump now to the University of Pittsburgh, to an icon over in Oakland, because Rachel and I went last week to tour the Cathedral of Learning. Lots of folks call it Cathy. I thought it was hilarious I posted about this on my Instagram, how many people were like, what is Cathy? They just like never heard that name. And I feel like I never hear people call it by like its full name.
I thought you were being cute. And
Rachel, you were one of them. You're like, what is Cathy?
I think I saw it on someone's shirt. And then I was like, oh, Megan was like being in, and I didn't even know.
It also, now that I've dug in the history a little to prepare for this segment, it makes me a little sad that, the people who conceptualized this came up with a very grandiose Cathedral of Learning, and now it's just called by the name of a boomer woman.
No, I love it. I think it's like calling it family, like your auntie is like a doctor and a really important person, and you're so proud of her. But also she's Cathy to you. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I look at it. We're, of course, celebrating the Cathedral of Learning, Cathy, because she is turning 100 years young in the near future. So they broke ground technically on September 27th, 1926. It did take several years to fully finish this incredibly ornate neo-Gothic building. So they're going to have a lot of time to celebrate the 100th birthday or the many milestones of its 100th birthday. But Rachel and I were so excited to get to kind of take a little bit of an insider tour of this because, as I have talked about on the show, I have still, until this, never managed to set foot inside a Nationality Room. I somehow only pick times when everything is closed, and I just have to look through those tiny peepholes that they have in a few of them. It's such a bummer. So this was amazing to me to get to step inside at least a couple of them.
Yes.
Yeah, and you and I have had opposite experiences because this is my go-to when people come to visit Pittsburgh is to take them on a Nationality Room tour. So if anybody has somebody taking a late summer trip into Pittsburgh, I understand that you have to like make the timeline up, but definitely I would recommend that as a fun activity to take your out-of-town visitors to.
Yeah. So in case you're not familiar, the Nationality Rooms are these like really, it's a really cool concept. It was like to try to capture through community groups and fundraising and organizing back when the building was being built, to capture what learning styles look like in different kinds of cultures, because Pittsburgh was historically a huge melting pot of different kinds of folks from different places. So there's a room dedicated to a lot of different folks that were really prominent or helping build Pittsburgh back in this era. They're mostly on that main floor, but like we got to see one, for example, on the third floor that had been not in use as a classroom for a long time and now sounds like is more of a conference room, multi-purpose space, but like it still looks very old. Like its style was like early American, like 17th century. So as they put it, really like sort of a rat trash space to learn because it's like a picnic table and only half the students can see the blackboard. Like it's a whole thing.
Yes, I can actually confirm that because I think I've mentioned this on the show before, that my husband actually teaches in the Cathedral of Learning. And he said sometimes he'll get assigned to this room and he's like, this is a beautiful place to speak in, but I can't set it up the way I need to for my class. Like it's, because each room mimics the traditional learning style of the country that it's built around. Some of them will have like long benches and he just wants to form like a little discussion group and he can't move the tables. So he's always kind of weighing whether he would rather be in a beautiful space where he can't teach the way he wants to, or just a more run-of-the-mill, regular old classroom that doesn't have that beauty factor, but is more optimized for teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've never been, I digress. I've been there once on a date. I may have made out in a Nationality Room for a hot second. But that was the last time I've been there.
What country, Rachel? What country did you make out in?
I don't even know. It was so long ago. I couldn't even tell you. Don't tell them. Don't tell Pitt. But I felt like I had never envisioned something like this. And I got many angry texts from friends that went to Pitt, like, how dare you get on this exclusive tour and you are not even a Pitt student or alumni. So I feel very privileged to see this beautiful space.
Same, Rachel. I was not prepared for the vitriol. Like, I just didn't realize how special this was to folks that are in the larger Pitt family to get to see some of the spaces that we did. So we got to see a Nationality Room. We also got to see this big conference room that's decked out in relics from what I would call the Mary Shenley mansion, but I think it actually belonged to her father.
Yeah, they moved it.
Yeah.
I feel like that is my takeaway, is there's so many secret crevices. There are so many secret doors, secret rooms that are fascinating to see.
Yeah, the early American room, for example, Mallory has like what looks like an average closet. And then the guy leading the tour like does a couple of things with his hands. And there's like a switch up high and another one over here. And then suddenly this extra door opens up because it's the only one of the Nationality Rooms that's 2 levels. So there's a whole bedroom up above it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I unfortunately did not get to take the tour, but I've always loved learning about the history of this space. I really have to shout out the book An Alternative History of Pittsburgh by Ed Simon, which is a great book overall for learning about our city's history. But there is a chapter specifically on the Cathedral of Learning that I just found really fascinating. So a little historical deep dive. Back in 1924, Pitt's chancellor at the time convened this group of civic and business leaders at the University Club in Oakland to sort of present this vision for a 50-story skyscraper that was intended to be the tallest educational structure in the world. In real life, Cathy is 42 stories, so some discrepancy between the vision and what was built, but obviously it is still this very majestic, eye-catching building. He described it in early private writings as a tower singing upward that would tell the epic story of Pittsburgh, which I feel like is pretty grandiose, but I kind of think the Cathedral of Learning lives up to that vision in the end.
And according to Pitt, is the tallest educational building on the Western Hemisphere and the second tallest in the world.
Okay, so he didn't quite get the tallest in the world designation. I think
he did briefly, if I'm remembering right. We just got usurped over time.
Yeah. But it actually was not his idea to do the Nationality Rooms. Apparently, it was a college administrator named Ruth Crawford Mitchell. And like you kind of said at the top, Megan, the idea was to have these like local immigrant groups, fraternal organizations in Pittsburgh, each design and fund the classrooms. So it was kind of conceived of as this fundraising project. But then I'm going to quote Ed Simon here, quickly became an assertion of dignity on behalf of the immigration populations who were tasked with their design and completion. So I love that it was like, kind of meant as this practical thing to help get this building funded, especially, we're kind of hit the Depression era during this time. But it also ended up really like celebrating the dignity of the many different types of immigrants to Pittsburgh during a period when I don't think all of them were celebrated.
And then the Nationality Rooms are all around what we would, I guess they call the common room. It's like the part that when you first walk in, everybody's like, oh my gosh, this looks like something out of Hogwarts. That, like, some fun facts about that. I thought they said by itself, like just the common room area with those huge tall arches cost a little over $500,000 back in the 1920s, which was mostly covered by a couple of Mellon brothers that were alums of the University of Pittsburgh.
Aren't most things in Pittsburgh mostly covered by the Mellon brothers?
Yeah. There's a lot worse they could have spent money on. I'm not mad about it. But I didn't realize this. They said that the tile itself is made to look like limestone, but it's actually, I think they said Vermont green slate, which is the same kind of material as used in a lot of subway stations, for example, of the same era. And it's designed to be significantly less echoey than like a regular limestone or something like that would be.
Smart.
Also, the furniture in there is still
That blew me
original.
away.
From the 1920s.
Like how rough I am
Or 30s.
on chairs and like students who might not realize. Like I would realize now. I'd be like, oh, let's pull this out very carefully. But like as a student, I'd be like, let me grab this.
Slamming backpacks on it. Like just like
I mean, you all saw me.
around.
I literally knocked a chair over and fell out of it when our team had a dinner the other night. So maybe I should stay
You
away from
recovered
Cathy.
very quickly.
Yeah, you did great. But like, and then there's all this like wrought iron everywhere, like the railings, and there's this huge gate with a beautiful saying on it.
The quote,
all of that is like it's like the largest collection of the specific artist. So like people come from all over to like get a glimpse of like his work in mass like this. They've just done a lot of like really careful preservation work over the years. I think they said it's been restored twice in recent memory. But it's a lot that they do to take care of it. And that's just like that bottom floor space.
I almost feel like as an incoming freshman, you should have like a respect the cathedral class
orientation
or something, because
I bet they do that. I bet they have something like that, like where you learn the fight songs and you get a sense of like the history of the space.
Recent grad wise, tell us.
Well, actually, while we're fact checking things, Mallory, I don't know if your book went into this at all, but when I first moved here, multiple people told me this story that something about like the construction, or I guess the completion of the Cathedral of Learning, like there was a question like, do we keep doing this once the stock market crash happened? So like they broke ground in 26, the stock market goes down in 29, and people are really struggling. And they're like, that there was this question of like, do we keep doing this? Is like this the best use of the money? But that they decided that we actually needed this beacon of hope, like this cathedral to learning, and that would be an important symbol. So that's kind of why they did it, as like sort of this is my language, not anybody else's, but like an FU to the bad economy at the time. I have no idea if that's true. That was not mentioned on the tour. But if you know, I would love to know.
I mean, the line in the book about this says, such insight, it's talking about kind of this idea of getting local immigrant groups to design and fund the rooms. And it says, such incisive financial acumen was helpful during the Depression, with the Cathedral of Learning's first class held on schedule in 1931. So I don't know how intentional that was or not. This doesn't get into that, but the timing does line up of maybe having a moment of questioning things and realizing that things could be completed on schedule. And there was a whole stock market crash in the midst. No one has any excuses for not completing things on schedule now these days.
I wonder if it was completed on schedule. I actually don't know, because
the first class was held. I should say the first class was held on schedule.
Exactly. The first classes were held on schedule, but they didn't actually complete the building, like do the top out at the very top until 1937. They were having classes in there for years before it was actually finished.
That's something construction nerdy that I learned while being at the airport. I didn't realize that you sometimes don't even finish it, while you're opening it, you are fudging it, and then it is being finished as you open it, and hopefully no one will notice.
Or it like won't affect the other things that
No,
you're
it
doing.
doesn't affect anything like pain or something.
That's where we'll finish it. Like the tour culminated in the opportunity to go up into those tallest floors. So there's an old trustees building that looks like it's covered in wood paneling, looks like something out of Mad Men. It's where folks used to hold meetings, like the trustees, until apparently there was a protest. There was a sit-in. Students were mad about something in the 90s, and they got in the way of the one elevator and the one staircase. And so trustees were stuck in there for a long time. So after that, they were like, maybe not. Maybe trustees won't meet there anymore. Right. But that's the ledge where the falcons are. So you can kind of peek down and see if the bird was there. And then one level below that is where the balconies are, where that iconic like 1960 Forbes Field World Series photo is from, where the students are leaning over the railings cheering. And someone had the brilliant idea of having us attempt to recreate it. It's the cutest thing, and it's on our Instagram now.
Love it. Yeah, History Center posted it. We're in collaboration with them, and it was such a joy to be able to do that and experience that view, because a view of Pittsburgh just takes my breath away.
So you might not be able to get that secret view if you go now. Apologies for bragging about it on the show, but a reminder that you can take a scheduled tour of the Nationality Rooms or a self-guided tour. Around Christmas time, they'll also like open things up for everybody, and everything's decked out with lights, and it's really beautiful. And they have like music, snacks, all this kind of stuff in the main space as well. So recommend hitting that up this winter too.
Yeah. And actually just stay attuned to maybe like Pitt official, like the social accounts too, because they said like this was just the first thing that they were trying in terms of getting the word out about its 100th birthday. So I think many things will probably be in the works, not just leading up to that September groundbreaking date, but way beyond, because like I said, they've got until 1937 to celebrate this thing's 100th birthday, and it stayed correct.
Yeah. Shout out to Alex and his team for rocking the socials at Pitt.
All right, we will close out today with some events, things to look forward to this week in addition to Restaurant Week. We're going to make this a regular thing. So if there's anything you're ever excited about as a listener, maybe as a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor, you can always let us know. And you can always find inspiration for things to do. If you're ever like, I am free on a Tuesday, what is there to do in Pittsburgh? May I recommend our website, pittsburgh.citycast.fm/events. We always have a running list there. Also, our members get early access to that. We send out a dedicated email every week. So you will get to know what is happening in the Burgh before everybody else. But we want to pick a few of our favorites every Tuesday, I think. So first and foremost, are y'all aware of the general mahjong of it all? I keep seeing everyone talking about this, especially like women of a certain age.
Yeah, I'm a millennial stereotype because I do play a weekly game of mahjong with some friends.
Weekly?
Now.
You've made
weekly,
wow.
But what I love about it is that I bring my husband's grandmother's board that she used to play with her friends when she had a weekly game. So I feel like I'm continuing the tradition.
What's old is new.
That's beautiful. Also, those boards are so expensive. I kind of learned, but I'm playing with someone else's equipment when someone else sets it up. I'm not particularly good at it. It's like bowling for me. I feel like I'm good for one game, and then my brain sort of disconnects and loses the thread, and then I'm no good to anyone after that.
I'm out. You got to teach me step by step on that one.
It's kind of hard, I think. It's just very complicated. You're really playing 3D chess. Anyway, if you are interested in getting a sense of it, even just like looking over someone's shoulder and being like, looking to see how this works, there's a Yin's Maj open play event happening at Bakery Square. I do think it's a good way to like get a sense just to watch other people play at first. It doesn't sound like this is like a tutorial situation, but it's an opportunity to glance, look at the tiles, see if this is something that maybe speaks to how your brain works.
Yeah, I'm looking at this now. It's happening from 10 to noon on Sunday. It is $10 per person to register. And if you are playing, if you're not just going to like peek over someone's shoulder, you are told to bring your 2026 card, because every year, at least for the American style, they release these cards telling you like what moves you can do, what gets you a mahjong.
Yeah, Rachel, if you've never played this before, it's not like poker where the rules never change. It's like there's a million ways to win, and it changes every single year, so that even if you've been playing for decades, you have an advantage because you know how it works, but you don't really have an advantage because it's a different hand. I love a trend. I love to know what's happening and why people are into a thing. So I've been dabbling. Mallory, what do you got?
I'm actually going to plug a show that's happening this Friday and Saturday because it's being put on by a friend of mine who is based in LA, but grew up in Pittsburgh and is bringing his show on the road here to Pittsburgh. It's called Soft Animal, and I'm quoting here, it's a psychedelic clown odyssey through the history of life on Earth, from primordial goo to late stage capitalism. So shout out to George Avalotis, who's putting it on. I can attest, having known him for a long, long time, that he is hilarious. He's been that way since his youth. So I would highly encourage folks to go check it out. It is happening in Braddock at Bare Bones Productions. So go check it out. Go see a voice that you don't get to see in Pittsburgh all that often.
This event listing, Mallory, looks fully unhinged in a great way. Like, this says, think Darwin meets Jim Carrey meets dolphin with ADHD.
Oh my gosh. Like, who thinks of that?
If that doesn't entice you.
Only a creative.
If you've never tried psychedelics, try microdosing the mind of George.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay, Rachel, your turn.
Speaking of microdosing, I love a good dance party. This is why I love our events listing, because it jogs my memory of things that I love to do and then I forget about. And I'm looking at Belvedere's events calendar and I'm seeing some really great events going on. They have karaoke on Tuesday. They have line dance, which I may sit out line dancing, but props to you if you enjoy a line dance. But my eyes are going to the 80s versus 90s dance party. I am so in for that and will friendly fight anyone that says 80s are better than 90s music, because 90s are the best. Spoken by a true elder millennial.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also seeing like a 2000s takeover, I think 2 days before that one. Like, the nostalgia for the 80s, 90s, 2000s is so peak right now.
And I love a dance party.
I think there's always, like, we are due for 90s nostalgia just with the wave of things, but I also think it's especially intense because there's this nostalgia for a time before smartphones and social media, and when people felt they could be free without being recorded, is the analysis I have heard.
I think all of that is fair. I also just think there's like something to like reaching back for any amount of time. Like, I went to a Pirates game this past weekend and they were doing 2010s. Like, it was everything was themed around that. And I'm just like, this feels too soon. I don't like it. However, it did occur to me while I was complaining about it that this is like, as a child of the 90s, this is like when for Spirit Days in school, I was asked to dress up for 80s Day. This is how my parents probably felt. Like, that was just, it was rude then and it feels rude now.
Yeah, it's super rude, and super rude that Y2K is now becoming vintage. Is vintage.
Unless you like silver eyeshadow, in which case your time has come again.
I won't hate on a silver eyeshadow.
I probably still have some from Y2K still in my bag.
And roll-on glitter.
Definitely still have that. Y'all don't go anywhere. We're done talking, but in just a second, Mallory is sticking around for a sponsored interview with Fulton Commons all about their co-working space and their shared commercial kitchen over there on the north side.
Hey, executive producer Mallory Falk here with Erwin Mendelsohn, the owner and co-founder of Fulton Commons. Erwin, welcome to CityCast Pittsburgh.
Hi, Mallory. Thank you for having me.
So Fulton Commons is a co-working space. It's got a shared commercial kitchen. More on that in a second. And full disclosure, CityCast Pittsburgh has an office there. We are big fans. We love to do our work there. Describe the space for folks who haven't seen the space.
It's a 19,000 square foot converted schoolhouse from the 1940s in a historic building or the largest historic district in Pittsburgh on the north side in the Manchester neighborhood. And what we did is we converted what had been the floor of classrooms into a shared co-working, shared office space. And on the lower level, what had the elementary school's kitchen, we converted into a shared food production kitchen. So it's a very functional space. It's a very beautiful space. And it's a very centrally located space. And it's a nice place.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of co-working spaces can feel like a little bit cold, dare I even say soulless. And what I love about Fulton is there's like these bright pops of color. Every section has a little bit of a theme. It feels so much warmer and more inviting than a lot of other co-working spaces I've seen, throughout the country.
So our background as business owners is renovating historic properties for new uses. And when we had this property, the opportunity to design what this property would look like, we just kept going with it until it really encompassed not just the vision that we felt would make sense for a co-working space, but also just kind of place we'd want to work in. And so it's meant to be very interesting. It's meant to be very eclectic. It's meant to be just cozy and comfortable. And we sort of went all in on the design aspects of it.
So you've got this main floor with workspaces, and then downstairs you've got a shared commercial kitchen. Who is that space designed for, and what does it actually offer to food businesses?
A shared kitchen, specifically the way we're designed, is meant to be a more efficient and a cost-effective alternative to opening your own space to produce out of. So whether it's leasing a space and getting it ready to use for your food business, whether it's buying a building and doing that, or whether it's, some people can create an annex to their house or what have you to produce. And so this is meant to be, a more flexible and efficient alternative. When you sign a lease, you not only have to invest in the equipment up front, but you're locked in for however long that lease is. And plans change. So here, you could choose to be locked in for a year, but otherwise it's a recurring monthly model like a gym. So it gives you that flexibility, whether you're going to launch your own space and you're not sure when that's going to happen, or whether you're just trying it out to see if this is a path. And then it's a lot more efficient because so much of what's involved in running a kitchen, we take on. So it's everything from ordering supplies to restocking supplies to negotiating the cost of supplies to maintenance for the equipment, just a thousand things, deep cleaning of the facility, all sorts of infrastructure things that it has to get done if you have a kitchen. It's just in this case, we're doing it as opposed to the business owners, which they would do if they had their own space. So it's a more flexible, cost-effective way to get whether it's a catering business, a food product business, bakery, prepared meal company, food truck or trailer, just to get up and running quickly and have that flexibility.
And let's talk about that shared kitchen space, because 8,500 square feet, that is a lot of space. What does day-to-day life look like for the food businesses that work out of it?
When one thinks of food, one thinks of like the ovens and the flourishes as they're designing things. But the bulk of what one is doing in general is just prepping. It's getting everything ready to cook. It's what you do afterwards. So we're fortunate to have a lot of space. So we have lots of room for folks to spread out to do their prep, both in terms of how the space is used and how it's spread out. We have lots of cooking equipment underneath various hood lines, ovens, mixers, burners, char grills, all sorts of things. And folks have access to the shared cooking equipment for those who need it. And then we have a ton of storage as well, because that's really critical to have enough cold storage as well as dry storage. Folks can come and go anytime. They have the flexibility based on their own personal schedule, as well as they get orders and need access to the space. They book time on the equipment, so they have what they need when they need it. But everyone has their own dedicated prep space. Plus, we have lots of extra space in addition to spread out to. As I mentioned, the idea is that a lot of people can produce simultaneously without feeling constrained.
So for someone who's curious about the space, about Fulton Commons, whether as a co-working space or to get their food business off the ground, what's the best way to get in and see it?
You can reach out to us via our website. For the co-working space, you can sign up for a tour directly. You can email us directly. You can come by and happy to show you around. And for the kitchen, it's a more structured process just because of the nature of what we're doing. But, so we'll schedule a call, and then assuming that what one wants to produce is something that operationally we could potentially have produced in the kitchen, we'll schedule time for a tour and then go from there.
Well, Erwin, thank you so much for sharing more about Fulton Commons.
No, thank you for having me.
And to learn more about Fulton Commons and request a tour, you can head to fultonpgh.com. We will have a link in the show notes so that you are just a click away.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Reminder, if you become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor right now, you get to claim the swag that speaks to you. It could be a tote bag, the diner mug, a pennant. Just sign up now at membership.citycast.fm/Pittsburgh. We'll be back tomorrow with more from around the city. We'll talk to you soon.
I never even realized that that was a thing, that they could move some room from one totally different space into another.
I learned this when I visited the Britney Spears Museum in Kentwood, Louisiana, and her childhood bedroom is in the museum.
What? I don't
know
if
it was recreated or physically moved, though. I need to fact check myself on that one.